But guys, special wee intro before we get into this. It's been a great week on SoRare. PSG onboarding, the World Cup has started. I've got my team of 4. It's me, it's Will Coutinho, MDJ, Ross. It's a bit of a dream team, we're going for it. If you haven't checked it out, make sure you do. It's on everything SoRare in terms of your Discord. It's in the little notification thing on the main website, the rules. You basically get to a group of 4 teammates. The winner gets tier like star rares. So it's a worthwhile thing to do. You'll be probably entering it in a roundabout way anyway. So check out the rules and get involved as best you can. But this video is also inspired a little bit off of the SoRare podcast that Index IB and FPL Chief have been doing. So go check that out as well. I'll link it down below so you can just click on that and go give that a listen as well. Make sure you give those guys a follow and a like and all that stuff as well. But they had NW You'll Never Walk Alone mark on blockchain, and they were talking about different players and different things as well, and they were talking about a card that I actually have, Ferran Torres, and Mark was talking about how kind of cheap he was considering the fact that he had now moved and yada yada yada. And I was just getting these kind of flashbacks, and I was thinking, like, I remember when I first got on my account, the first thing I was trying to hunt out was cards that would go limited circulation. That was something that I found relatively appealing. You know, maybe a player that I would maybe have, like, just Ferran Torres is obviously not right, but just anyone else, for example, maybe a 4 or 5 out of 10 player, but they've now made a transfer, maybe a step down, like career wise or whatever, but they're going to play first team football. The team they're in is not as good a team, but they will be playing, and you know, it gives them a chance. And as well, if there's not as many cards in circulation or there's a limited quantity, then it gives you an edge in the competition. You know, if there's only 5 cards available, then there's only 5 cards that are going to be scattered amongst all the competitions it could possibly be in. So that always gives you an advantage in something that you want to be seeking for. So what I wanted to do today is go through 5 transfers that you might have missed on SoRare, cards that you can still get at time of recording for I'd say relatively decent fees, and we'll go through each one on their merit. There'll be 1 or 2 that will drop in through the video as well that aren't really available on the market now, that if you're kind of you know, a good negotiator, or you know, whatever, depending on whatever you might be able to get your hands on. But yeah, if you haven't joined SoRare yet, links are down below. Get all your free stuff, coins, cards, all that stuff, and subscribe, like, share, retweet, all that good stuff. Stay out of trouble, guys, and let's get stuck into this one. Come on! Now, the first one we've got up is Maxime Lopez, okay? Centre midfielder. It's just transferred from Marseille to Sassuolo, okay? Now, Maxime is he's a little combative midfielder. Doesn't get too many assists, doesn't get too many goals. As you can see, his average on the matrix for the last 5 and 15 games is very low and very understated. Not too many of them in circulation. You can see he goes fairly cheap at the moment. Best price at the market, time of recording is right there for you. But what I always like to do with these kind of things is jump in, have a look at all their stats and all their history. And something like Maxime Lopez, he has been in and out of the team. Marseille have been a wee bit, they finished the season strong. They get quite lucky the way the French season just stopped and they got into Europe. They didn't need to see it over the line. They were going pretty strong. Anyway, I digress. They had some good purple patches throughout the season, and then when I go back and I look at those kind of time periods, I can see this guy when he was playing centre mid and they were doing well. He's bagging scores of 70s, 3 70s, a couple of 60s. The lows are a wee bit there as well. There's 25s and 23s. You do see them popping up now and again as well, but the highs are definitely there to be had. With him now being at Sassuolo, he's now playing in a top half Serie A club, right? Now, Sassuolo are not the biggest club in the world, and if you follow football, they'll definitely be a name you're familiar with by now. They got promoted to Serie A at the end of the 2013 season, and then from then till now, the very first season they got promoted, they finished 17th, and then every other season, they've either been like 12th or 6th. They've been very solid and very consistent over, 7 years or so. It's a very strong, very steady club. There's some players that you will be familiar with in that squad already, guys like Berardi and Boga, but the squad is strong and it's a good club to come into. The sort of player you're getting in Serie A when it comes to Maxi Lopez is you're getting, a lot of interceptions per game, on average, interceptions, tackles. Also, there's a good bit of passing. His assist stats, it's really weird. They've went down over the years rather than going up, but that is kind of in line with the amount of starts. You do see, the bigger appearance, the more games he starts, the better he tends to do. There's a couple of crosses in there for him being a centre mid. Long balls are there as well. And where's the offensive one? And then, you know, assists, key passes. He's got enough good stats in there. And the way the matrix is built now, if he's playing in a strong team, he's the main guy in centre mid and he's doing his job, then, you know, for your match days for 0.075 he's going further now, he could definitely be a really strong contributor throughout the season. And he's kind of under the radar, I suppose. Now for me, Sebastian Rudy could be a really good one if you can get your hands on one. He's just transferred back to Hoffenheim from Schalke. Sebastian Rudy's career, you know, has been really checkered with transfers and, you know, not appearing and just chasing the bigger thing. He's back at Hoffenheim again. He's now out of circulation until Hoffenheim are signed. There's only an SR available at the moment. There's not that many of them in circulation. They've all went super cheap. So everyone who's holding a Rudy, I'd probably say good on you, especially for the prices you're paying, like $7 and stuff like that. It's mad if you can pick one up, but that's a really good fit. Hoffenheim's a good team for Rudy to be in, and if you can get your hands on one for something modest, then he's a nice little guy as well. Now, Florentino Luis's transfer to Monaco, you probably did hear about, maybe forgot about it quite quickly because there wasn't too much of a fanfare about it as such. At the moment, he's still, you know, he's not trading for ridiculous prices, considering, you know, what we're about to discuss when you see what's kind of under the bonnet, if you like. But moving to Monaco for a player like this is very appealing, always, because Monaco are famed, you know, especially in the last 10 years or so, for bringing players in, give them a shot, maybe try and sell them on kind of Porto style, Benfica style, you might even say. In this occasion, it's a Benfica to Monaco transfer, which is funny. So again, we can see his SoRare data stats. Now, when we're kind of looking at this kind of thing, like I said before, the historical stats, you want to try and find little patterns of form that you can clutch onto and go, well, they clearly can, first of all, play football to suit this matrix, and then maybe go backwards from there to see how justified and how credible and how likely it is to be repeated, you know, it might be, sort of thing. So if we look at his historical stats, you know, appearances are scattered throughout, being young, I think there was an injury last year as well, but when you go right the way back, we just about capture a lovely patch of form he had right before not appearing for ages, you know. You know, 3 scores over 50, then almost 195.5, over 50, 78, 46, and he's out of the team for whatever reason at the time. Again, I'm suspecting injury. So, you know, he's got it in him. Then we scratch a little bit deeper. We see defensively, his interceptions and his tackles are massive stats over his career so far. Fair enough, there's not been much minutes in actual games and whatnot. Offensively, you know, the shots per game is okay for somebody who is a kind of more central midfielder and more of an 8 from the looks of things. Key passing is there, dribbles are there. Passing itself is high accuracy, you know, it's short interval balls from defence and around other midfielders. Key passes are still present on this page as well, but a very nippy, very busy, you know, number 8 type midfielder. And Monaco, there's no European football for them this year. You know, they are Monaco, but they've got some good players join the club this year. You know, the goalkeeper's good. The back four, there's a lot of young, exciting players there. A few of them seem to be injured and suspended and whatnot at the moment. The midfield, they've got the boy Fabregas. The boy, of course, we're talking about Florentino. Golovin is injured to come back. Yusuf Fofana has a reputation, as does the number 8, who I'm not going to try and pronounce. Ben Yedder, Mertens, Kevin Volland in the team. You know, it's potentially exciting. Under Kovac, you know, the reputation goes before him. They should be quite compact, quite steady, etc. But even if that is how they're going to build base and build their attack, Florentino, if he's playing, you know, that's the sort of, you know, output he's going to be expected and wanting. And if these guys are winning games and he's playing that role in that team, then his scores are going to be similar to the patch we've already seen in the history. So the kind of prices hovering about at now, I do find that quite attractive, especially if you are new and you're looking for something that is that little bit more of an edge to it. The next one is Marcos Acuna. Now, we will finish the video off with a little kind of honourable mentions list, guys that aren't like super attractive, but worth a thought, and they might float your boat. But Marcos Acuna has transferred from Sporting Lisbon to Sevilla. Now, if you're new to the channel, you might not have heard me talk about this guy before, but the guy that runs Sevilla is a guy by the name of Monchi, and he does all the signings, he does everything to do with transfers in and out, plans it all like mad. The guy knows his stuff, the guy knows his onions, right? So when he signs somebody, I always pay attention, always. Now, as you can see, the guy's stats are credible, and he is still really cheap. Now, what I really think about this new matrix is, like, attacking fullbacks are definitely a sought after position. You know, they're definitely going to be players that they get really good highs and really high averages on a consistent level if they're in a good team for that dynamic. So his average scores at Sporting Lisbon, probably playing a little bit, you know, he's listed on this as a midfielder. So I suspect he was playing a bit more kind of left mid and left wing, but traditionally he doesn't score a lot of goals, you know. So he's not an out and out kind of left winger attacker type guy. Best price in the market now is 1.4, as we've seen when we flicked through there. And again, when we dive into the old stats and have a look through, the guy's got good form everywhere. You know, good solid averages, nice highs. You do find the odd one, yeah, there's a 37, there's a 29, but a lot of 40s, a lot of 50s. And then you do see those 60s popping in there as well. Now, with him moving to Sevilla, number one, there's not a football fan in Europe, in my opinion, that doesn't have mad respect for Sevilla just for who they are and what they've become, which is massive fair play to them. But he's got into a team that are in the Champions League again, that have just won Europa League after Europa League after Europa. You know, they've built a great little dynasty, and they don't really put too many transfers wrong. This team, yeah, there's a wee bit more requirement for depth here and there, but you know there's good quality all over the pitch. And they're in such a great vein of form. He started his first game, or it might not be his first game, but he started against Barca the other day. It was a 1-0 loss. But he's coming in, he's starting, and he's going to be making a big difference to this team. And Sevilla attack, you know, they're going to be, you know, they're always top 4 contenders now. They've got to be, if not top 6, and then you know they're going to have a good run in the Europa League to save the day. But they're a top end team. They're going to beat more teams than they're going to lose, almost fact. And as long as the guy's fit and he's playing, you've then got an attacking fullback that's listed as a midfielder, that there's not as many cards off in circulation to go and put into competition. So I think he is a brilliant shout if you're looking for that kind of card to get your collection gallery kind of. Terem Boffey is transferred into League One from Belgium. He's now at Lorient, still transferring kind of relatively low. And again, if he plays and he scores, averages are there to be had. I mean, you're just to Frankfurt, might work out. Maxi Phillip, when he's fit and he's playing, you know, if you look over his career, he can be a 1 and 2 game striker in goal production. Another one similar to Rudy, if you can get your hands on potentially. Marco Piaka has went to Genoa from Juventus, but weirdly there's no Juventus cards, there's a couple of Anderlecht cards. And then you could probably make I could have probably did a decent little segment on even Regani himself, but I think, you know, he's still going pretty cheap and he's very understated. Men should have a good year this year. They've recruited really well. I just don't want to spend too much time talking about defender, to be honest. So listen, that's been everything. If you've enjoyed this, please make sure you like, subscribe, share, retweet, all that good stuff, guys. Stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye bye.